Welcome, my friends, and thank you for being here today. This story is not only about one man's life, but about dreams, confidence, mistakes, and learning through experience. When you listen to stories like this, your English improves naturally because your mind follows emotions, not grammar rules. This story will help you stay focused, motivated, and curious from the first word to the last. This journey is especially helpful for English learners because the language is simple, clear, and natural. You don't need to understand every single word to enjoy the story. Just listen, imagine the scenes, and let the English flow into your mind. By the end, you will feel more confident not only in English, but also in your own goals. This is also a motivational story because it shows that success is not magic. It is built slowly through discipline, belief, failure, and courage. You will hear about confidence, fear, criticism, and determination. So now, relax, take a deep breath, and let me tell you the story of Donald Trump. Donald John Trump was born in 1946 in Queens, New York City, a place full of noise, energy, and ambition. America was rebuilding after the war, and the city was growing fast. From the beginning, Donald was surrounded by movement, construction, and big ideas. This environment quietly shaped his thinking long before he understood it. Donald was born into a family that already understood business. His father, Fred Trump, was a real estate builder who believed strongly in discipline and hard work. He built homes for middle-class families and was careful with money and decisions. His mother, Marion Trump, was kind and supportive, bringing warmth and balance into the family. Growing up, Donald lived in a busy household with brothers and sisters, where competition was natural. He was energetic, confident, and sometimes aggressive in his opinions. He liked to win and hated losing, even in small games. These early traits stayed with him and later became part of his public personality. At school, Donald was known as a strong-willed child who did not like rules very much. Teachers often said he had too much energy and asked too many questions. He challenged authority and wanted attention, which sometimes created problems. His parents realized that his energy needed direction, not punishment. When Donald was about 13 years old, his parents sent him to New York Military Academy. This school was strict, disciplined, and very structured. Days started early, rules were clear, and mistakes were not ignored. At first, Donald struggled with this new environment and felt uncomfortable. Over time, something important happened inside him. The discipline began to shape his confidence instead of breaking it. He learned how to control his energy and use it with purpose. The academy taught him leadership, responsibility, and mental toughness. Donald became a leader among other students and stood out in sports and activities. He enjoyed competition and pressure, and he learned how to perform in difficult situations. For the first time, authority and ambition worked together in his life. This experience stayed with him forever. After finishing military school, Donald went to college and later transferred to the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. Wharton was known for business and economics, and Donald felt excited to be there. He studied finance, but he also studied people, power, and opportunity. He was already thinking far beyond the classroom. During college, Donald dreamed of building something big and meaningful. While others looked for safe careers, he imagined himself changing the skyline of New York City. He believed that success should be visible and powerful. Manhattan, with its tall buildings and bright lights, became his main focus. After graduation, Donald joined his father's real estate business. The company was successful but focused mainly on Brooklyn and Queens. Fred Trump believed in safe projects and steady profits. Donald respected his father, but he wanted more risk and more attention. This difference created tension between them. Fred preferred quiet success, while Donald wanted bold moves. Donald believed that Manhattan was the center of business, fame, and power. He felt that if he could succeed there, he could succeed anywhere. Donald began spending time in Manhattan, walking its streets and studying old buildings. He imagined how they could be transformed into something modern and exciting. One building caught his attention more than others, the old Commodore Hotel near Grand Central Station. Most people saw a dying hotel, but Donald saw potential. The idea of rebuilding the hotel sounded impossible to many people. Donald was young, inexperienced, and did not have full control of the money. Banks did not trust him, and critics laughed at his confidence. But Donald believed strongly in himself and his vision. He talked to investors, negotiated deals, and refused to give up. Even when he felt unsure, he acted confident and calm. Confidence became his tool, not just his emotion. Slowly, people began to listen and take him seriously. This project marked the true beginning of Donald Trump's public journey. It was the moment when his ambition met real risk. Success was not guaranteed, and failure was very possible. But Donald moved forward anyway. As this part of the story ends, we see a young man standing at the edge of his future. Behind him are discipline, family, and early lessons. In front of him is Manhattan, full of danger and opportunity. This is only the beginning of a much bigger story. Donald Trump now stood face to face with his first big dream, and that dream was risky. The old Commodore Hotel was not beautiful or popular anymore. Many people believed it was better to leave it alone or tear it down. But Donald believed that broken things could be turned into powerful symbols. He knew he did not have enough money on his own, so he used something else. He used confidence, vision, and strong words. He spoke like someone who already owned success. Even when he was unsure inside, his voice stayed strong outside. Donald spent many days meeting bankers, city officials, and investors. Most of them did not trust him at first. He was young, and his ideas sounded too big. But he did not stop knocking on doors, even when many closed in his face. Slowly, a few people started listening. They noticed his energy and belief. He convinced the city to give him tax benefits for rebuilding the hotel. This was a huge win, and it showed that persuasion can open doors that money cannot. The hotel was transformed into the Grand Hyatt Hotel. When it opened, people were surprised and impressed. What was once old and forgotten now looked modern and powerful. Donald's name started appearing in newspapers for the first time. This success changed his life direction completely. He felt stronger, louder, and more confident than ever. The city began to see him as a rising star in real estate. Donald learned an important lesson here, that success creates more opportunities. After this project, Donald did not slow down. He moved quickly toward bigger and bolder ideas. He wanted buildings that were not just useful, but unforgettable. He believed buildings should tell a story and carry a name. That name was his own. Donald Trump began placing his name on buildings in large letters. Some people loved it, and some people hated it. But everyone noticed it, and attention was something Donald understood very well. One of his biggest dreams during this time was Trump Tower. He imagined a tall, shiny building right in the heart of Manhattan. Many people thought the idea was too expensive and too risky. But Donald believed risk was necessary for greatness. Building Trump Tower was not easy. There were delays, problems, and stress. Costs went up, and pressure grew stronger every day. But Donald stayed visible, confident, and vocal throughout the process. When Trump Tower finally opened, it became a symbol of luxury and power. Gold glass and height represented success in Donald's mind. People talked about the building everywhere. Donald Trump was no longer just a businessman. He was becoming a brand. With fame came criticism. Some people said he was too loud and too proud. Others said his success was built on exaggeration. Donald listened, but he did not change his style. He believed that being talked about was better than being ignored. For him, attention was fuel. Even negative attention kept his name alive. This mindset pushed him forward again and again. During the 1980s, Donald expanded fast. He invested in casinos, hotels, airplanes, and more properties. His lifestyle became famous, and magazines wrote about his wealth and confidence. To many people, he looked unstoppable. But behind the bright lights, problems were growing quietly. Some businesses did not perform well, debts became heavy, and pressure increased. The same bold risks that brought success now brought danger. In the early 1990s, Donald faced one of the hardest periods of his life. His businesses were close to collapse, banks were calling, and billions of dollars were at risk. The man who looked powerful on television felt fear privately. This moment tested his character deeply. Many people expected him to disappear from public life. Critics said his success was over, but Donald refused to quit. He sat down with bankers and negotiated again. This time, he was not in control. He had to listen, adjust, and accept help. It was painful for his pride, but necessary for survival. Donald later said that this period taught him humility. He learned that confidence alone is not enough. Discipline, focus, and learning from mistakes matter just as much. Failure became one of his strongest teachers. Slowly, step by step, he rebuilt his position. He reduced risks and focused on what worked best. His name still had power, and he used it carefully. Over time, his businesses stabilized again. This comeback was not loud or fast, it was quiet and steady. But it proved something important about him. He did not run away when things became difficult. During this period, Donald also began appearing more in media. He understood television and public image very well. He knew how to speak in a way people remembered. His personality fit perfectly with cameras. This understanding later led him to a new kind of success. But before that, he had to accept one truth. Success is not a straight line. It goes up, down, and sideways. As this part of the story ends, Donald Trump is no longer just a rising star. He is a man who has tasted both power and fear. He has fallen and stood up again, and his story is far from over. After surviving his hardest business struggles, Donald Trump slowly found his balance again. He was no longer chasing every opportunity at once. This time, he focused on what he understood best: real estate, branding, and public attention. He had learned that falling down does not mean the story is over. Donald realized something very important during this period. His name itself had value. People recognized it, talked about it, and remembered it. He understood that his personality, confidence, and bold speech were assets, not problems. Instead of only building buildings, he began building the Trump brand. His name appeared on hotels, towers, golf courses, and products. Sometimes he owned the projects, and sometimes he only licensed his name. Either way, the brand kept growing. This was a smart move. It reduced financial risk and increased visibility. Donald no longer needed to borrow huge amounts of money for every project. His name worked like a magnet, attracting partners and attention. Around this time, Donald became more comfortable in front of cameras. He gave interviews, spoke confidently, and made strong statements. Some people admired his honesty and boldness, others felt uncomfortable with his style. But Donald did not try to please everyone. He spoke directly and simply. He believed that strong opinions made people listen. Whether people loved him or disliked him, they paid attention. This ability to hold attention led to a major turning point in his life. Television producers saw something special in him. They saw confidence, drama, and leadership all in one person. This idea soon became a reality show. In 2004, Donald Trump became the star of a television program called The Apprentice. The show focused on business competition and decision-making. Donald played the role of a powerful leader who demanded excellence. His famous words, "You're fired," became known around the world. The show was a huge success. Millions of people watched it every week. Donald's image became stronger than ever. To many viewers, he represented authority, success, and control. This period changed how the world saw him. He was no longer only a businessman. He became an entertainer, a public figure, and a symbol of confidence. His voice, face, and style became familiar everywhere. For English learners and young dreamers, this part of his life shows an important lesson. Reinvention is possible at any age. When one door closes, another can open if you are willing to adapt. Donald did not give up when business alone became difficult. Behind the scenes, he continued working on real estate and branding. Golf courses became a major focus for him. These projects matched his image of luxury, control, and long-term value. Slowly, his business life became more stable again. Donald also began writing and speaking more. Books like The Art of the Deal shared his mindset and experiences. Many people read his words and felt motivated by his confidence. The books were simple, direct, and full of strong opinions. Some readers loved his advice, while others questioned it. But again, Donald was not trying to be perfect. He was trying to be memorable, and in that goal, he succeeded. As his public presence grew, so did public debate around him. He spoke openly about topics others avoided. He enjoyed challenging ideas and people. This made him powerful in media discussions. At the same time, his personality became more intense. He trusted his instincts deeply. Sometimes this helped him move fast. Other times, it caused conflict. Still, Donald believed in one rule above all others: never show weakness to the world. Even when things were difficult privately, he stayed confident publicly. This belief had guided him since childhood. As years passed, Donald began speaking more about leadership, strength, and national pride. These ideas slowly moved him toward a new stage of life, a stage that surprised many people. People around him noticed that he enjoyed talking about big systems, not just businesses. He talked about countries' power and direction. His confidence in business began to extend into confidence about leadership. Many laughed at the idea at first. They said he was only a television personality. They said he did not belong in serious leadership conversations. But Donald had heard doubt before, many times. He believed that outsiders could change systems better than insiders. He believed that strong personality mattered more than experience. This belief pushed him forward again. By now, Donald Trump was a man shaped by many lives. He had been a student, a builder, a risk-taker, a failure, a survivor, and a television star. Each phase taught him something different. For English learners listening to this story, this is a powerful lesson. Life does not move in straight lines, it moves in chapters. Each chapter prepares you for the next one. Donald's story at this point is full of confidence, controversy, and transformation. He is no longer chasing approval, he is chasing impact. Whether people agree or disagree, they cannot ignore him. As this part of the story comes to an end, Donald Trump stands at another turning point. Once again, he is ready to step into something new and uncertain. The world is watching closely. By the time Donald Trump began thinking seriously about politics, he was already one of the most famous people in America. His name was known in business, television, and popular culture. Many people saw him as confident and strong, while others saw him as controversial and unpredictable. But Donald believed that leadership belonged to people who were not afraid to speak loudly. For many years, he had shared strong opinions about the country. He talked about jobs, borders, trade, and national pride. These were not quiet thoughts kept inside his mind. He said them openly on television, in interviews, and on social media. At first, most people did not take the idea seriously. They thought it was only talk or a publicity move. Politics was seen as a world for experienced leaders, not for a businessman and television star. But Donald Trump had never followed traditional paths. When he officially announced his decision to run for president, the reaction was intense. Some people laughed, some were angry, and some were excited. From the very first day, his campaign felt different. He spoke in simple words and strong sentences. Donald did not speak like a politician, he spoke like a businessman and a performer. Many people felt that he said things others were afraid to say. This made him popular with some groups who felt ignored for a long time. His rallies were loud, emotional, and full of energy. Supporters felt connected to him because he spoke directly to them. Critics felt uncomfortable because he broke political rules. But once again, attention followed him everywhere. The media talked about him constantly. Every speech, every message, and every argument became news. Some coverage was negative, some was supportive, but all of it kept his name visible. Donald understood the power of this attention very well. As the election race continued, pressure increased. His words were examined carefully, and his past was questioned. There were moments of strong criticism and moments of surprising support. The journey was exhausting, but Donald stayed confident. For him, confidence was not just a feeling, it was a shield against doubt. Even when polls showed uncertainty, he spoke as if victory was already close. This mindset helped him stay focused. When election day arrived, the world watched closely. Many experts predicted he would lose, but as results came in, something unexpected happened. Donald Trump won the election and became the President of the United States. This moment shocked many people around the world. Supporters celebrated with joy and pride. Critics reacted with fear and disbelief. Donald Trump had reached one of the highest positions of power. Becoming president changed his life again. The role came with responsibility, pressure, and constant attention. Every decision affected millions of people. The spotlight was brighter than ever before. As president, Donald faced challenges from the very beginning. Political systems were complex and slow. Not everyone agreed with his approach. Conflicts, debates, and criticism followed him daily. Still, he stayed true to his style. He spoke directly and acted quickly. He believed strong leadership meant making clear decisions, even if they were unpopular. This made his time in office intense and emotional. There were achievements that supporters praised. There were decisions that critics questioned strongly. His presidency was full of strong reactions on both sides. Very few people felt neutral about him. For English learners listening to this story, this part shows an important lesson. Leadership always brings criticism. You cannot please everyone. What matters is understanding your purpose and direction. Donald Trump often spoke about strength and winning. But behind that image was a man under constant pressure. The job tested his patience, confidence, and endurance. Every day demanded attention and decision-making. Over time, the political environment became more divided. Conversations grew louder and more emotional. Donald remained at the center of it all. His presence shaped discussions around the world. When his term as president came to an end, his story did not stop. He remained one of the most talked about figures in modern history. Supporters still believed in him strongly. Critics still challenged him just as strongly. Leaving office did not mean leaving influence. Donald continued speaking, appearing, and sharing opinions. His name still carried power and attention. Once again, he showed that visibility was one of his greatest strengths. This chapter of his life proved something important. He was not afraid to step into unknown territory. Just like entering Manhattan as a young man, he entered politics without fear. Risk had always been part of his journey. As this part of the story closes, Donald Trump stands once more at a crossroads. He has reached business success, media fame, and political power. Few people in history have walked so many different paths. But the final lessons of his life story are still ahead. When we look at Donald Trump's life from beginning to end, one thing becomes very clear. His journey was never smooth or predictable. It moved through confidence and doubt, success and failure, praise and criticism. Yet through every phase, he kept moving forward. From his childhood in Queens, he learned discipline and competition. From military school, he learned structure and leadership. From business, he learned risk, loss, and recovery. Each stage shaped the next one, like chapters in a long book. Donald's story teaches us that confidence is a skill, not a gift. He trained himself to speak strongly even when he felt unsure. He believed that if you show strength to the world, people respond to it. This mindset helped him survive difficult moments. Failure played a major role in his life. When his businesses collapsed in the early 1990s, many believed he was finished. But he treated failure as a lesson, not an ending. He adjusted, learned, and came back stronger. This ability to stand up again is one of the most powerful lessons in his story. Life will push you down at some point. Success depends on whether you stay down or rise again. Donald always chose to rise. Another important lesson is the power of reinvention. He moved from real estate to television, from business to politics. He did not let one identity limit him. He believed people could change their path at any time. For English learners, this story also shows the power of communication. Donald used simple language and strong sentences. He spoke in a way people could understand easily. Clear communication helped him connect with millions. He understood that attention is energy. When people talk about you, you stay relevant. Instead of running from criticism, he faced it directly. This kept him visible even during difficult times. Donald's life also reminds us that leadership brings pressure. Being in front means being judged. No leader is loved by everyone. The courage to move forward despite criticism is essential. At the same time, his story shows that belief must be balanced with learning. Confidence alone is not enough. Listening, adapting, and improving matter just as much. His hardest lessons came from his hardest failures. For many people, Donald Trump represents strength and determination. For others, he represents controversy and debate. Both views exist, and that is part of his impact. He created strong reactions because he lived boldly. This is another lesson worth remembering. A quiet life is safe, but a bold life is remembered. When you take risks, you may fail publicly, but you also open the door to great achievement. For your own life and English learning journey, this story has meaning. Growth takes time. Confidence grows through practice. Mistakes are not enemies, they are teachers. As you listen to stories in English, you train your mind naturally. You learn rhythm, emotion, and expression. This is why storytelling is powerful for language learners. Donald Trump's life is a reminder that the future is shaped by action. Waiting does not create change, trying does. Even when results are uncertain, movement matters. No matter where you come from or what you face, your story is still being written. You are not late. You are not finished. Like Donald Trump at many points in his life, you are simply between chapters. So take the lessons, not the noise. Learn from success and from failure. Build confidence step by step. Speak clearly, believe strongly, and keep moving forward. Thank you for listening to this story from beginning to end. If you stayed with it, you already proved your focus and discipline. Keep reading, keep listening, and keep growing. If you enjoyed this story and stayed with me till the end, that already shows your strong focus and curiosity. Stories like this help you improve English naturally, without stress, just by listening and feeling the language. On this channel, we share more real-life stories, motivation, and simple English content made especially for learners like you. So if you want to grow your English step by step, build confidence, and enjoy learning at the same time, this channel is for you. Please subscribe to the channel and be part of our learning family. New stories are coming, and your journey is just getting started. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next story.